Boys and girls, I'll put this out there right now to each and every one of you boys and girls. I apologize right now. Towards the end of this video, while I started getting into a ranting a lot, I actually mix up Chakotay and Tuvak's names quite a lot. So I apologize for that right out front in front of the video right now. Enjoy the rest of the video, boys and girls. What's up, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ladies? This is Jesse with the Common Nerd, bringing you pop culture and all things nerdy through a common sense lens. And well, it looks like, boys and girls, Star Trek is a house divided. As we all are very well aware of, the murder of Charlie Kirk last week sent shockwaves out there through the entire world. And of course, Hollywood, with all of their virtue signaling and their pontificating, of course, could not help but put their 2 cents. Some of it better, some of it far, far worse. And actually, I think waking up to a lot of people realizing that, yes, boys and girls, evil and demons are very much real and they walk among us out there. Well, Star Trek Voyager was a show that I absolutely really enjoyed in the late 90s and the early 2000s out there. I watched it on UPN all the time. I absolutely loved it. It was one of the first Star Trek shows that I really got to catch all the way from beginning to most of the way, all the way to the end out there. I know it's not as good as some of the classics out there. Obviously, not even as good as Deep Space Nine, and of course, the classic series or even Next Generation. But at the end of the day, I think it was a pretty solid Star Trek show that I got a lot of fans that really enjoyed it out there. And obviously, it gave us 7 of 9. And I mean, come on, guys. Okay, you can't really complain about Star Trek Voyager that much. And by the way, that lady still looks good to this day. Shout out to, I believe, Jeremy Reiner. I'm probably completely and totally screwing up her name. Anyway, boys and girls, one of the other characters that I really enjoyed out there was Tuvak. Of course, Tuvak being our little Vulcan out there, our little stand-in for Spock in the show, because you've always got to have one out there. And it was a lot of fun to have that kind of situation out there. Well, boys and girls, he decided after working for Bethesda for so long that he would be all about the spirit of the age and virtue signal out there. Well, on the other side of that bridge out there is Commander Tuvak. And boys and girls, him as well as the greatest captain out there, William Shatner, decided to show that they are actual decent human beings and why they will always be legends of Star Trek. Whereas Tim Russ sounds like he's going to go down the exact same path as George Takei and get remembered by the fans the exact same way, because this is disgusting, this is disturbing, and absolutely ridiculous, and he deserves all of the backlash that he's gotten and will continue to get for exactly this. Because as you can see over here from the headline at cosmicbook.news, Star Trek actor Tim Russ mocks Charlie Kirk's death with Captain Kirk image. Yes, boys and girls, he didn't just go out there and decide to spout his nonsense on his own personal platform. No, he decided to use the Star Trek franchise to push his own disgusting agenda. Now, considering Skydance Paramount, the new company out there that owns Star Trek, and they flat out said that they will not have any diversity, inclusion, and equity nonsense inside of their company, what do you think the chances are he's ever going to be seen in a live-action Star Trek in any way, shape, or form going forward with this new company? Yeah, me thinks he's not going to we're not going to have to worry about seeing him in Star Trek and any future projects out there. So we're getting into this article, getting all of the juicy details of exactly what he said, and then, of course, what Commander Chakotay said, as well as William Shatner himself. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing. We just crossed 2,200. We're sailing our way towards 2,100 on our journey to 100,000. I think we're sitting at like 2,217, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below. Let me know what you think about all this. Does it surprise you at all, considering the fact that Tim Russ has been working for Bethesda over the last few years on things like Elder Scrolls and Starfield? Sorry, I couldn't help but think about Az's rant over that one. Boys and girls, or does this actually surprise you and you'd really just wish more of these Hollywood actors and actresses out there would just keep their mouths shut so you can go back and enjoy Tuvok's role in Voyager? Do you think this will cause some damage to how much you can go back and enjoy in Voyager, or can you separate the artist from the art out there? Let us know about all that in the comment section down below. Now to support the channel, please check out our links in the description down below. All right, from cosmicbook.news and our dear sweet Matt McGloin, boys and girls. Star Trek actor Tim Russ is facing criticism after mocking the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk by posting an image of Captain Kirk on social media with the caption, "The only Kirk that matters." as you can see right here out there, boys and girls, on Twitter. On Twitter, of all places. What do you want to bet? He's deleted it since then, boys and girls. Oh, Star Trek. Russ is best known for playing Tuvak in Star Trek Voyager. Shared the post just days after Kirk was gunned down while speaking at the Utah Valley University. His post has since circulated widely online, drawing a backlash for appearing to make light of Kirk's death. The actor is due to return in Star Trek Con podcast. I wonder how well that's going to go over. We'll have to put a pin in this and to see if his appearance gets canceled by the new bosses in charge of Star Trek or not. We'll find out, because I guarantee you they're going to hear about this. Worth a mention is that Russ's comments also follow a Skydance acquiring Paramount, which is said to be getting rid of DIE policies. It's unknown if that's an additional reason for Russ's tweet. Well, I'm sure he's certainly salty about the new bosses not wanting to put up with his spirit of the age virtue signaling. Russ has also done voice work for Elder Scrolls and Starfield. Yeah, you remember that? Pronouns, boys and girls. 2 games from the game developer Bethesda, who is also facing major backlash for social media posts. Because, of course, if it's okay for other Bethesda employees, why wouldn't it be okay for this Star Trek Bethesda employee after all? In contrast, fellow Star Trek legend William Shatner, who betrayed Captain James T. Kirk, expressed sympathy. Assassination is so senseless. Condolences to the Kirk family. Just because someone believes something different than you do shouldn't make them targets. Accept that they don't see your views and move on. It's differing viewpoints that make life interesting and makes the world go round. Unless you believe the earth is flat, then I guess it just sits there. Also, of course, taking a dig at all of the flat earthers out there. Russ's comments adds to the growing list of entertainment and gaming industry figures who have mocked or dismissed Kirk's death online, further fueling debate about political polarization and the public response to his assassination. And it's one of them situations out there, boys and girls. I made an entire video, which of course didn't get a lot of traction in the algorithm. So go find that one out there and go leave some comments and leave some likes on that video. Because at the end of the day, it's just a mathematical equation and we have proven that we have the numbers to defeat them, right? But at the end of the day, boys and girls, it's one of them situations where this is Hollywood's fault, right? This is the agenda. This is the spirit of the age that they have pushed in Marvel and Disney for a long time, DC, and especially in Star Trek over the last few years during all of Kurtzman's Treks, boys and girls. This is the ideology that led to this. And now Tuvok is out there dancing on the grave of what the policies, the spirit of the age that he has advocated for, that Bethesda has advocated, that Star Trek prior to Skydance advocated for, caused this. And now he's just enjoying his desserts. He's just enjoying the fruits of his labor. Why shouldn't he? Because as far as he's concerned, it's perfectly okay to murder people whose opinion you don't agree with. Boy, what kind of demon is Tim Russ? Clearly possessed by one. But that's okay, because we have another member of the Star Trek Voyager crew out there, Commander Tuvak, who turns out to be a pretty based Christian, ladies and gentlemen. My, what a contrast. I thought those Christians were just a bunch of bigots and ists and phobes that hated monger. They're just a bunch of hate mongers out there. It's almost like they accuse you of what they've been doing and who they actually are the entire time. And it doesn't take very long for people like Tim Russ to show their true colors. Remind me who the monsters are again? Robert Beltran, who played Commander Chakotay, who co-starred in Star Trek Voyager with Russ, also offered condolences. Charlie Kirk was first a Christian. Even in the most hostile places, he spread the gospel with patience and love. For that, he was hated, and his words were twisted out of context. We lost a powerful voice for Jesus and a great patriot. I pray for those filled with such hate. Amen to that. I mean, what a class act. What a class act response out there. Completely and totally a 180. Complete and totally night and day for what Tim Russ put out there. Absolute monstrous, absolutely demonic, clearly pushing the agenda of the devil. And what did Robert Beltran get for it? Of course, a bunch of backlash, but a bunch of support as well. I absolutely love it. This guy right here says, it's great to see not all Trek actors are insane communists. God bless you, sir. Dana Louch said, thank you for the class. God bless. But of course, right here we go. This little follower out here who's got more followers than I do on my No account, but clearly is very involved in the Star Trek stuff because it's followed by Holodeck 4. No one, and I mean literally no one, hated him for being a Christian. Get an effing grip. And Robert Beltran simply asks, when did you take this poll? So it's literally, you can go over and read his comment sections, but it's filled with this. And is Tim Russ an outlier? Or is Chakotay and Shatner an outlier? Well, we've done several videos on it. Honestly, I'm kind of sick and tired of doing videos over this. But the devil and his people out there need to be mocked and ridiculed because that's the one thing he hates the most. And these disastrous dumpster fires need to be talked about. They need to be documented because you need to know how evil these people actually are. They are dancing on the grave of a father and a husband who simply tried to reach out to the other side of the aisle. People who disagreed with him peacefully in an open forum to discuss ideas. And for that, demons like Tim Russ believe he should have been taken out. The fallout from Charlie Kirk's assassination has sparked a wave of reactions across entertainment, gaming, and publishing. Hollywood names like Batman actor Michael Keaton and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's daughter, Ava Reen, have been criticized for their remarks, while companies such as Bethesda, Epic Games, Blizzard, and Sega have faced backlash after developers and artists posted celebratory or mocking comments online. In comics, DC canceled trans writer Gretchen Falcon Mann's Red Hood series after his comments about Kirk drew intense criticism. We went over all of that. We went over that in painstaking detail. And if you're one of the few out there who own that Red Hood comic, congratulations to you out there. Hold on to that because that is a scalp that we won. Because the DC didn't just fire this person. Microsoft fired other people as well, but DC didn't just fire this person. They erased their comic book from history. They offered comic book shops refunds for the books that they'd already sold. Because if you didn't know, comic shops have to pay up front, pay for those books. So if you're buying something on their shelves, they've already paid for those books. Don't think you're supporting the company. The comic shop already did that. You're actually supporting the comic book shop by buying this. And if you buy one of those Red Hood comics, if you can still find one, you're making sure your comic shop gets paid twice for this out there, boys and girls. Legendary artist Alex Ross also stirred controversy with his official X account, posted and quickly deleted Superman image following that. Meanwhile, Stephen King deleted tweets and issued an apology. Ghost of Yeti developer Drew Harrison was fired after public posts. Boy, I wonder why Tim Russ felt this was okay. Is he going to keep working for Bethesda? Absolutely. But this is why I blame Hollywood for what happened last week. Because they have allowed attitudes like this to permeate. They promoted it. They fundraised for violent criminals for their bail money to get them out of jail faster and get them back on the street during the fiery but mostly peaceful riots of 2020. So yes, Tim Russ and the rest of those out there that have pushed this ideology and allowed it to happen are just as responsible for Charlie Kirk's death as the person that pulled the trigger. And now Tim Russ out there is proving exactly what you thought about the majority of Hollywood. They're demons, they're evil, and they push an agenda. They are monsters. And now they're showing you their true colors. And Star Trek actor Tim Russ is just the latest. Commander Tuvak is absolutely a possessed by the spirit of the age and an absolute demon. But on the other side, boys and girls, it shows you that not all is lost. That there is still a remnant left out there of common sense and good, honest, Christian-led and inspired decency out there. Commander Tuvak is our shining example, an out and about, avowed Christian, which has a Kickstarter out there that you might want to go support after thinking about this and actually making it all this way to the video. William Shatner, an absolute class act, a guy who says very based things all the time, shows you that guess what? Not all Star Trek actors are completely and totally insane. Not all of them are like this. But you know who is demonically possessed by the spirit of the age? You know who is still advocating for the ideology and the culture that killed Charlie Kirk? Tim Russ. So Tim Russ, you've been documented. You've been announced. And guess what? We will hold you accountable for your words. We will make sure that everyone as far and wide as everyone out there in the culture with common sense can shout and announce. We will make sure that it is known to all Trekkies out there what an evil, disgusting monster you are. And we'll see how far your future in Star Trek goes with the new Paramount, the new Skydance bosses, because guess what? They don't support the spirit of the age. So enjoy obscurity, boys and girls, for Tim Russ, because it'll be a miracle if he even shows his face at a Trek convention after something like this. And honestly, boys and girls, that's the most beautiful thing that could happen, because the demons are on the run. They've exposed themselves, and we are documenting the disastrous dumpster fire and the fall of the spirit of the age. Because guess what? Doing stuff like this only wakes up more people. So by all means, all things evil are turned to good by God, and all things for the glory of God. And now exposing yourself just does more of that, because we have your number. Tim Russ and the Star Trek fans will not forget. A big shout out to all of our subscribers and members out there. Thanks for watching, and make sure you guys like and subscribe if you have not already.